Welcome to the Legal Merry-Go-Round.
Welcome back to the Legal Merry-Go-Round with Attorney Paul Samakow, a longtime personal injury lawyer helping injured people throughout the DC metro area get treated fairly after an accident. I'm Lisa Mosby, and today we're talking about how to choose the right attorney if you've been in a car crash, what to watch for with TV ads and social media marketing, how to read reviews the right way, and when a referral really is worth following. Welcome back, Paul. It's great to be back with you again.
Thank you so much. Love the topic that you teed up for us today.
Paul, when should someone start looking for an attorney after a crash? And what should they know about hiring a firm they found on TV?
Oh, two questions at once. All right, I'll try and do the best I can. Um, Unlike the grocery store, people don't need attorneys every day. So when you need an attorney is when you've been injured. It's not normal that people have an auto accident attorney or a personal injury attorney on retainer. I mean, maybe, sure, but maybe for the rich and famous, it's like, call my lawyer. But most people are fine if they, go through their life and hopefully they never get hurt. But if and when they do, that's the time to start looking for an attorney. And people don't understand that there's many things that happen right away, which they just need to calm down and slow down, assuming they're not unconscious or laid up in the hospital with, casts and pulleys. And, I mean, if they're capable of doing things on their own, or if they're not, you're their relative or what have you, there's nothing urgent right this second about talking to insurance people. So we're going to go from insurance to getting an attorney in just a moment. But the important thing to understand is that insurance industry representatives, claims adjusters, get paid in many ways and they get bonuses in many ways, one of which is closing cases quickly. So they will call and offer a small amount of money and tell you that if, well, you need a doctor, we can pay that later. We'll think about it, but we'll take care of your car. But, just here, we're going to record this call. Is that okay? And we're going to give you some money. So the answer to all that is no, I don't want your money right now. I want to see what truly has happened to me. And no, you cannot record this phone call. And some of these insurance claims representatives send investigators and they knock on your door and they're very charming. And the answer is, hey, thank you for your concern. Goodbye. Now, when do you get an attorney? Look, the sooner the better. And the reason is because the attorney knows what to document and how to document it. Let's just take as an example witnesses. Okay, so you were intelligent enough that at the scene, there was Billy Bob, and he came over and said, hey, I saw the whole thing, and I'm happy to help you. And he gives you his name and his phone number. Great. Well, 3 months later, you may not know where that phone number is. You may not even remember the guy's name was Billy Bob. Or even if you did, 3 months later, Billy Bob may not remember everything. So the sooner you get Billy Bob's information to your lawyer, the more likely it is that Billy Bob is really going to be a help to you. Auto accident investigation. Later, cameras that might have recorded it are recorded over. So why not get an attorney who can get right now into those cameras by way of a request to the police or the highway administration or whoever it might be that has the footage to capture that information and secure it to prove your case. And I can go on and on and on, but the point is the sooner you get involved with an attorney, the less stress you have, the better it helps you with many things in your case, and you'll be better off. And people, oh, well, I don't want to get an attorney because that'll cost me. In fact, it doesn't. Attorneys work on what is called a contingent fee basis on these types of cases. That means, and I'm sure many of people listening to this have heard the expression, no fee, we don't win, no fee, or, we only get paid if we win. And that's what it means, contingent upon our making a financial recovery for you, and then we get paid. And so then the knee jerk reaction is, okay, well, how much do you get paid? It's typically a percentage. And that percentage comes off the top. And if we look at the Institute of Insurance, we find statistics every single year confirming that people who use the services of an attorney typically end up with 3 times more money in their pocket, even after the attorney's fee is taken out, than they could possibly ever get doing it by themselves. And it's not that these are not intelligent people, but they just don't know the system. They don't know how to work it. They don't know what goes on. And obviously, at the very end, if they're doing it on their own, they don't have a threat. They don't have a threat. An attorney has a threat. Mr. Insurance Adjuster, if you don't do what I want you to do, we're going to file a lawsuit against your insured. Now, you don't want to go to court, and neither does the insurance company, because the insurance company knows that if they go to court, they might end up having to pay more than making a reasonable settlement with the attorney now. The person who doesn't have an insurance, again, has no threat. What are they going to do? They're going to say, well, I don't think this is fair. I'm going to go get a lawyer. More often than not, statistically, they don't, and they never come back. So the insurance company wins completely. So that's why it's important to get a lawyer right away.
One of the things I'm thinking about as you're talking, we are not celebrities. We do not have attorneys on speed dial, as you jokingly referred, but we're seeing law firms everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all social media, on TV, on benches, billboards. What are the red flags that tell you this firm might be built on volume instead of on case care? And how do we narrow down when a lawyer or a law firm is the right fit for us?
I am a strong advocate of research. You don't just take the first shiny object. Now, I have been an attorney for 46 years, more than that, actually, and I advertise. And I think my ads are a little different than some other attorneys, but I don't ever want to badmouth another attorney. They went through law school, they've worked many years, they work very hard, and most of them are very, very good. Lisa, you alluded to firms that just have mass numbers, and yeah, some of those firms don't give the quality of service that other smaller firms might, that don't have the same number of clients. But the red flag isn't so much what you're seeing, it's the research that you do. Um, in general, I don't like ads that don't give you information. And I have been a critic of lawyer ads for many, many, many years, decades, because many of these ads are what I call me ads. I got my clients, accomplished a million, billion, gazillion dollars, or their testimonials with the clients who were sitting there looking perfectly healthy and perfectly fine. This law firm got me 500,000. They got me 1,900,000. They got me 6,300,000. Okay, those are one-off resolutions of catastrophic cases. And I'm glad to see that those people are giving testimonials talking about how much they got, because they're there on camera and they're not dead. But trust that they had some very serious injuries. The average person that just gets into a little fender bender and has some whiplash isn't getting hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. But the ads are me. I've done this, I've done that. The lawyers are talking about themselves and not what the clients are concerned with. The clients need to be concerned with, is the lawyer going to be responsive to me? How is my case going to be handled? Who's going to be in charge of my case? These things are not discussed in these ads. And the ads work. They really do. I mean, you see a billboard, you're driving around, um, in traffic and you see injured, call, 997, whatever the number is with a big smiley face. Okay, it works. It gave you no information. It's a lead generation tool for the attorney, and it's fine to call them, but then you have to know what questions to ask. I think the number one way to find a good attorney for your case is to ask your friends and relatives for a recommendation. Have they ever been involved in an accident? Did they get an attorney? What was the experience they had with the attorney? Between you and me, Lisa, I don't think anybody really knows or cares 5 years later how much money they got, but they're going to remember the experience. A very famous poet who gave a speech at President Obama's first inauguration, Maya Angelou. People remember how you make them feel. And I strongly believe that that's true. I have clients who've come back to me after decades, not because they remember I got them $500 more or less or $5,000 more or less, but because of the way I made them feel, the way we handled the case. Now, you're never going to know at first instance about that situation with that lawyer, but you'll get more information if cousin Fred or your best friend Sally tells you, hey, these people were great. They always return calls. They called me when I wasn't expecting just to check up on me. The attorney gave me his or her cell phone. These are these are the green flags that I believe are appropriate to look for.
It makes me think of another quote from another woman who was friends with Maya Angelou, and that is that people want to be seen, heard, and know that what they say matters. So I'm tracking with you 100% on that. How we help and how we allow people to express their story and get served is the most important piece when you're working with an attorney. People lean hard on Google reviews. How should someone read reviews for car accident lawyers in a smart way? And what kinds of reviews matter most?
Great question, Lisa. Reviews are part of our daily life. You go to a movie, well, you didn't just go, you looked at the reviews first. You go to a restaurant, you didn't just go, you looked at the reviews first. It's a part of our life, and I think they're very valuable. I mean, it's not so much the number. Look, I mean, I don't even know how many reviews I have, but there are law firms that literally pay people to write reviews, and you'll never know that they were paid, but they have 15,000 reviews and they're all 4 and 5 star. Okay, great. Well, pick 10 of them and read them. What do they say? If it's just the lawyer was good, his staff was good, we were satisfied, that doesn't tell you very much. But if they give you a little story, if they give you a little bit of information about what happened and why and when and who and how and why, all that, that's a valuable review, and it should not be just arbitrarily ignored. There's a reason a review like that was written because that person was so excited and satisfied, excited to write the review because we as human beings want to share uh, good experiences and bad experiences with our friends and our family. I mean, it's who doesn't like when someone asks their opinion? I mean, we all do. Everybody likes it. And so now I've had an experience I want to share. I want to go and tell people. And the world that we have today, social media, Google reviews, what have you, allows us to give our opinion without being asked. And we feel good doing it. We feel proud. So those are very, very important markers that could be red or green flags. And I'll talk one more thing about reviews. Well, a bad review doesn't necessarily mean it's true. I had an employee who left me under other circumstances, but her boyfriend broke up with her. And in order to get her in trouble, he wrote a review about my law office targeting her that she was terrible and that we were liars and we didn't do what we said we were going to do. I mean, just devastating review all about her and my law office. And he was never a client. But there was this terrible 2-paragraph review with a 1-star, rating on Google that when I finally saw it, was able to get Google to take it down. Look, I'm a human being. I make mistakes. Today I shaved, and I didn't cut myself, but I'm going to say that 4 out of 5 times when I shave, I cut myself. So I start every day when I shave making a mistake. It's human. They happen. The goal is if you make a mistake, you try and right the wrong. But a mistake could engender a bad review. And so all that can happen is you get on the phone with the person that wrote the review and you try and figure out why they wrote the bad review if it's not in the detail of the review, and you try and make it right. So if you see a law firm that has 400 reviews and they're all 5-star, I would be a little suspicious. If you see a law firm that has that many reviews and 10 or 15 of them are bad, that's human. That's expected. You can't please all the people all the time. I have a process in my office. Before we begin a negotiation with an insurance company to resolve a client's case, we send them a letter and we tell them, hey, we think that your case has a value of, I don't know, for my example here with you, $25,000. And if you agree with this, please sign this letter and send it back. And then I can go to the insurance company and I know if I can get them $25,000 or more, that my client will be very happy because they've already agreed to it in writing. I have had people give me reviews when I got them more than what my letter to them told them because they changed their mind later and now they're not happy. I once got somebody, I think it was $14,000, and I told them I wanted to get them 8. I mean, I almost doubled what I told them we were going to get them, and they wrote a nasty review that I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, how can you can't guard against that thing. People sometimes just have, an ulterior motive and another agenda. But again, just the summary of what we're talking about here, reviews are a great way to analyze whether or not you want to go forward with a specific attorney or not. But read them, read 5 or 6 or 7 of them and see, what they say in a cumulative fashion.
And it's all part of that research process, isn't it, Paul? One of the ways that we do research, you mentioned questions and reaching out to friends and family. Friends and family referrals do feel trustworthy when someone says, hey, call my lawyer. But I don't know that that's a great form of research. How do we make sure that that referral is an actual fit for our situation? I know it comes back to the questions again, but can you give us a few quick tips on how to really find out if we are with the right attorney?
Well, again, a friend or a family referral is a start. Generally, people like to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And so now we already have some barometer that this person is known, liked, and trusted by somebody that I know, like, and trust. So it's not a direct connection, but it's stronger than no connection. When I, would just generally talk to somebody about who to, use as their attorney, again, I emphasize research, make it feel good, make it feel right. Find out if the attorney will give you his or her cell phone. If they won't, I think that's a red flag. Find out who is going to negotiate the case with the insurance company. The law does allow non-lawyers to negotiate with the insurance company as long as the lawyer would certify that they were under the direction and control of a lawyer. I'm sorry, I don't like that practice. There are law firms that do that. You hire me to be your lawyer, a lawyer is going to negotiate your settlement. Um, there's a whole process of communication which I think is critical, and it has nothing to do with the end result, but it has to do with, again, how you're made to feel. You're being heard. Um, these are things that um, little things. I mean, what are we doing extra and above that we may not have to do? You're never going to know that, but you're going to see it as you go forward. We've had staff get in their car and drive an hour to bring somebody their check at the end of the case because they were leaving out of the country the next day and they needed the money. So if we put it in the mail or even a Federal Express, they wouldn't get it. They would have already been gone. So little things count. When a friend or a family asks you or tells you to go to their lawyer, don't just say, "Oh, okay." Ask them, "Well, tell me about it. Tell me the experience you had. What did they do for you? How did you feel?" Again, don't be blind, deaf, and dumb. We'll ask lots of questions. This is an important decision as to who your attorney is, much the same as it might be important if you're going to have an illness and you want to find the right doctor.
Paul, I think those are great insights today and well said. Let's do our research. Sometimes panic or fear may cause us to make a decision, and we're not in a rush. We have time. We can ask questions. We can interview multiple attorneys and find that right fit. And watch for those green flags and those red flags. Thank you so much for your insights today.
Thank you.
Folks, that's it for today's episode of the Legal Merry-Go-Round. If you've been injured in the DC metro area and you're trying to figure out who to trust, or you want a second opinion before you sign anything, Attorney Paul Samakow and his team are here to help you get treated fairly. To learn more or schedule a free strategy session, visit samakowlaw.com. And don't forget to like, leave a review, and subscribe to the show so that you don't miss the next episode. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.